All right, let us not fall for this malarkey. Like, come on now. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I can remember back in 2016, the last time that we had five fourth round picks, what we did with them. And it wasn't much. To be honest, I don't think we got anything out of it because Tavon Young was the only one that pretty much did anything with his career and got a second contract. Did he deserve it? Not at all. He just couldn't stay healthy. Not to say he wasn't a good player, but out of five fourth round picks, we came up with nothing. And Eric DeCosta wants us to believe that fourth round picks are gold. What kind of gold? I say it's fool's gold because we can barely hit on the first, second, third, and fifth rounds. And you expect us to go in with four fourth round picks and come out with a bunch of starters and all of them are supposed to start and play, be rotational players? Like, I don't believe it. You can barely bring in people that make an impact on this team. And it's a cold day in hell when you have to depend on four fourth round picks to make your team a better team. So that says a lot about our draft strategy and how we run this organization and how far we have fallen as far as being the upper echelon of teams inside this conference. I mean, I don't hear anybody else talking about, yeah, all our fourth round picks gotta hit. They gotta be on because they're going to play. Why? Why, Eric? Why not trade some of these assets as you call them? And if they're worth so much, other teams will covet them. Other teams will want them. Other teams will buy into your nonsense and trade for them. So why not use them to move up into the draft? Now, I know that they said we have been one of the more busier teams in calling others trying to move up in the draft, which is a bunch of bull to me because I don't believe it. It's just like we tried to draft this player, or we tried to trade for this player, or we called this free agent and tried to get him to come in. We always almost did something. We are always on the cusp of bringing somebody to this organization. Like, they're always almost, it's I can taste it. They're almost a Raven, but somehow it doesn't happen. And my thing is, you can't always do something and always strike out unless this is just not the destination that people want. This is not the organization that we used to be. And that tired rah rah rhetoric that's being spread out there, no one's listening to it. Like, listen, I'm not an athlete or a pro athlete, but I would kill to play with Lamar. Like, that is a selling point in itself. Whether it's for 1 or 2 years, I get to play with the most dynamic individual in professional sports, in my opinion. And your selling point is, well, we got fourth round picks, and we're gonna try to play them all. Come on, bro. Like, this is why I keep telling people we are not contenders, and we have not been contenders for a long while. This is why we are a middle of the pack organization and a middle of the pack team. Yes, do we have winning records? Of course we do. We have Lamar. Do we make it to the playoffs? Of course we do. We have Lamar. But after we get into the playoffs, do we do anything? Do we get to conference championships, much less a Super Bowl? No, we don't. And it's the mentality of, hey, we got a bunch of fourth round picks and we're going to use everyone that we draft. That mentality is why we are not advancing. And I'm just asking this fan base, listen, get out of that brainwashing. I mean, you saw the quote earlier, and that was from a Ravens fan loyalist. Like, that was from one of them purple patrollers that I guess they got tired of all the rhetoric and all the BS. And they're starting to see other teams aren't doing this. Other teams are trying to move up. Other teams are trying to do stuff. So with hours to go before the NFL draft, we need to make some moves. I don't want them to necessarily draft certain defensive players, nor do I want them to go defense in the first round. But If they do, go up and get the guy that you want. Trade some of these fourth round picks. Go get that guy that you want to make this team a better team. At least show that you are trying to win. Like, stop muddling in the water. Like, stop wading in the water. Like, just stop treading and floating. Like, swim. Do something. Make a move. That's all we want as fans. I mean, I'm not a GM. I don't run an organization. But what we are doing isn't working. And what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And that's what we do. We hoard draft picks. We draft horribly. We don't go out and get the best free agents. And we go out in the first, second game of the playoffs. But every year, we're in contention. We're winners. We contended for a Super Bowl. Says who? Who says we're contending for a Super Bowl? Like, nobody's scared of us. That mystique of nobody wants to see the Ravens once they get into the playoffs, it's been long gone. And I don't see it coming back anytime soon unless we take this time to make that change and say, you know what? I don't need 4 fourth round picks. What was it, 5 this year? Who knows? We don't need all of these fourth round picks. We don't need them. Let's use this capital and go get some people. It's some dynamic players that you can go get. Shit. Draft who you want to draft. Get anybody but Jordan Davis before 14. Use them picks and trade back up into the first round. High second round. Use those. I mean, what would it hurt? Because there's no way on God's green earth that you are going to draft 10 rookies and play 10 rookies this year. It's no way. There's no way that 10 rookies are going to make this team unless we are that depleted of talent that we need to rely on 10 rookies. And if we do, I guarantee you we will be in 3rd or 4th place again in this division. Mark my words. So stop playing around searching for this fool's gold that they keep telling you that we have. Like, you can sell that to somebody else. But for those of us that see, we know it ain't cutting it, bruh. Like EDC, do something. That's all we ask. Do something. So I'm just going to sit back, wait for the rest of this time, see what's going to happen up until the draft if we make any moves, and just pray that we make the right choices. Make this an exciting first round. Eric DeCosta and the Baltimore Ravens.